It's gonna suck.
Put your hand on the screen.
How did they find out? Who was the one?
This show has gotten infinitely more gay.
The mystical land of New Jersey.
I don't understand how the laws in this country work anymore.
Pushing E?
You know, I think it could go places, honestly.
We're hot right now. We're taking two of the hottest memes are out there and
We're spinning them.
making one.
It's like making It's like making a pizza.
Everyone loved dough.
A little bit of pepperoni.
Everyone loved sauce.
Everyone a
put
little
them
bit
together.
of pepperoni.
Yeah.
A little bit of pepperoni.
A little more pepperoni.
A little bit of pepperoni.
Give me some pepperoni on that.
I went to a place and they offered old world pepperoni. I didn't know that we could time travel with pizza.
I said, no, give me some of the future pepperoni. actually.
Yeah. Give me some of that Tomorrowsville pizza.
Oh, dude, tomorrow's day?
Tomorrow's
Super
day.
excited about tomorrow's day.
I
coming
feel like
up.
I'm always too early, though. Just a little bit ahead.
I always put out milk and cookies tonight for tomorrow's day.
And then I'm always like, oh, wait, it's tomorrow.
And then I forgot. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tomorrow. So,
Right.
Hey, welcome to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio. We're saving the underground music scene. To my right, Shani.
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Hello.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. You can text in live at 216-859-8699. Make your tomorrow's day wish at 216-859-8699. We'll let you know tomorrow if it came true or not. If you're listening on this Monday live, you can do so on Live 365 or us-radio.com, WSRRradio.com, or download the free WSRR Radio mobile app.
Yeah!
You can take us with you wherever you go. You can go to WSRRadio.com to get the links for both the Google Play and the Apple App Store. The Google Play has a couple more hoops you have to jump through at the moment.
We're
but
working on the kinks, all right?
We're getting the kinks out.
Can we bring them back in? I like them.
We're bringing them to the doctor's office.
No! All
A
right.
piss kink.
Oh, I got one of those.
Well, then you belong in this Scottish doctor's
Yeah.
office.
So
Oi, lassie. Oi.
there's a
That's what they say, right?
It's on me, yeah.
Lassie.
I was kind of a pirate. I was less Scottish and more
Yeah, they're all
of the sea.
They're all the same.
I'm gonna call it a hospital because they call
It's
it
a
a clinic,
hospital.
but
Yeah,
they
no.
also call it a surgery unit.
That
so,
was my first question because it says medical clinic in like the headline, and so I was like, "Is this a hospital or what?" And I think they're just like, "Oh, it's a medical clinic, innit?" You
And
know?
then immediately in the next line it says the surgery facility.
yeah.
So I think they're
basically.
just calling it.
That or they have like the best fucking urgent cares where you can get surgery.
I will say, I did not know that there was a difference between like there are nursing homes and
assisted living homes.
assisted living
yeah.
homes and like assisted living facilities, and there's
Don't you deal with those for a living?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
through
okay.
through what I do, I found out that
I
there's
thought this was like a recent thing for you.
No,
Like
no.
Yesterday you figured this out.
no through what
No,
I do.
tomorrow.
It's like tomorrow's day,
Tomorrow's day, you're right.
big holiday
Big
tomorrow.
holiday.
But yeah, there's like layers to it. So I was wondering
Like
if
onions.
a medical clinic was like a lower grade, like
Right.
Yeah.
almost like a minute clinic or something like that we
Yeah.
have here. You know
But
what I mean?
I'm from what we gathered, it's
Right.
not.
Right.
So I'm just gonna refer to it as
It's a hospital.
It's a hospital.
Yeah. So what's going on at
hospital?
this hospital?
A hospital in Scotland.
Right.
Lassie.
It has now put like a
Ahoy.
massive PSA, I guess, to
Oh,
all
PSA.
to all of their patrons that they are no longer accepting unsolicited urine samples.
I have the direct quote right here.
Yeah.
If you'd like. Please be advised that we are no longer able to accept urine samples unless they have been specifically requested by the practice. This change is necessary due to the high volume of inappropriate or unsolicited samples being submitted, which affects our ability to provide timely care to all patients.
I have two takeaways. The biggest of which being, why were they accepting them before?
Yes.
But I also would like to point out the fact that they're saying this as if like they have to break the news gently to their community, like it's a super big PSA. Like, guys, we're sorry. We hope you can forgive us. We can no longer accept unsolicited piss samples at this time.
So this
My question also is, why are people going to the doctor's office and just
dropping
bringing
off
their pee? Okay, listeners,
It's kind of funny.
here's another layer.
I'm not
kinda-
gonna
it's kind
lie.
of a
It's
good
kind
point.
of a good bit.
kind of a sick prank.
The additional layer to this is that they are bringing their own piss in their own containers
yeah, it's
Right.
from
not.
home.
Which obviously, if they're bringing their piss, it's from a container.
You're bottling it yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So this is another quote from this is a representative of the hospital, or the medical clinic.
Yeah.
Each unsolicited sample handed in requires time and medical supplies to test in practice. Contact the patient for information and then interpret the results and or send away for further testing. So like,
So they're actually like analyzing the piss people are dropping off at random.
which
But
is
why?
crazy.
Slow day.
What says
Slow
they
day at
have
the
to?
clinic.
Yeah. Well, what says they have to? Furthermore, how do they have the patient's information?
No, and that's my thought process is they're taking this in. There has to be someone at the front desk. Someone shows up, stranger shows up with a water bottle full of piss and goes,
Ziploc
"I
bag
want to
full of
drop
piss."
I want to drop off a urine sample." And the person at the desk has to go, "Okay, what's your name and address?"
You know what?
And they check it in.
You know what? The way that you are phrasing this hypothetical scenario to me makes a lot more sense now. I genuinely was thinking a homeless dude was pissing in a beer bottle and leaving it at the front door of the hospital.
And they were like, "Oh
Yeah,
boy,
the doctor's
new
like
sample.
walking out, and they're like, "Oh,
I know what I'm doing
yeah, I
tomorrow.
gotta take this down to research and analytics." Like, what? No, that makes a lot more sense. It was probably people who were genuinely trying to like get piss tests, and they were dropping them off at the front desk.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Which like,
Still bad practice. Don't do that shit, and don't take that shit.
yeah, how are they taking it?
And
That's
how
the
are
front
there
desk lady's fault. I'm on your side.
How are there so many people in the general public that were just like, yeah, I'm going to drop my piss off at the hospital for testing?
Right.
I wonder if that's what this specific hospital is known for. They're like,
piss
"Oh, you need to
hospital?
get a piss test for work."
You
I
go
know
to-
the place.
Yeah, you go to this place.
You
right
go to
here.
5th Street. You just show up and drop it off.
They'll hook you up.
Everyone I know drops their piss off there.
Yeah, you have to, dude.
They're treating it like it's. You ever go to like AutoZone to drop off old oil and take your old motor oil and just drop it off there, or like you go to a mechanic and that you can put like shit you found in the road. Like, oh, I was pulling to the
Yeah,
parking
yeah.
lot and they had this nut, so I throw it in there. They're not dropping off nut. They're dropping off piss. They could probably do both.
It's kind of a power move, honestly.
I-
It's like really disrespectful,
It's inspired me.
but it's kind of a power
No.
move. Well, I'm not showing up at random places with my piss. Let me get that clear.
We
Well,
have in the past.
well. Let me backtrack even further.
Yeah.
The piss is in my body
Sure,
sometimes,
sure.
but I'm not expelling the piss.
Imagine driving in the car with a jar of your
Yeah.
own piss.
In the cup holder.
Well, I mean, you have to do that. Sometimes they ask you to take like a urine sample at home, and they give you the little, but they give
they
you,
give you the thing.
a specific thing to
Yeah.
pee in.
Hang on, maybe I'm just behind with the times here. When they give you the thing to piss in at home, don't they usually give you like a box to send it back to the fucking place in?
I think you can
They
also
usually-
just drop because they have like drop off containers in like the front of hospitals.
Okay,
where
yeah,
you
that
can,
makes
like-
sense.
They have the bags too. Like they'll give you
Right, you're not raw
like,
dogging the
a
vial of
little
piss.
bag with like
Yeah.
the orange
Mhm.
and black symbol on there, and then they give you a label too to
Yeah.
slap on.
All
there.
right.
It's not like a little plastic baggie.
But also they requested your piss.
But
Yeah.
but genuine question: if you like went somewhere, like you had a kidney stone, that's the thing they'll test your piss for. If you have a kidney stone and they send you home, they're like, "Hey, next time you have to piss, here's a cup and a bag to drop it off in.
Mm-hmm.
We want your sample, right?"
Mm-hmm.
What if you pissed in the bag and sealed up the bag,
Ah.
like kept the vial for
Yeah,
yourself for your
right.
collection?
You're like, I thought this was just
A
like-
shot glass.
Yeah, I
Like
thought
a
this was
souvenir.
for me.
Yeah.
And then you keep the little vial and you piss in the bag and drop. Do you think they'd analyze it?
No, they'd ask you to go back. They'd be like, "You did this wrong, pal." They'd be
There
like,
weren't clear instructions.
"Yeah, you're kind of a dumbass."
Instructions unclear. Dick Cotton ceiling fan.
That's so funny.
I'm just saying, like this place would take it though. It seems like people are showing up.
Yeah.
It doesn't specify what containers people are showing up with. So like
I
you'd
wish
have
it
to think.
did.
You'd have to think if you knew a hospital was gonna take your piss, like unrequested, I'm
Right.
showing up with piss, they're gonna test it.
Right.
A water bottle would probably be my first go-to. But like if I don't have a water bottle, Tupperware?
See, I'm a crazy fucker. I'm picking a pill bottle because that came from the hospital. Thus, hence, it must go to the hospital from where it returned.
Right. Everything to once it returned.
Right.
But like if you don't have an empty pill bottle lying around, do you empty out the aspirin bottle and piss in the aspirin bottle and
Maybe.
leave the label on it?
think-
So they're like, why did someone drop off aspirin?
I think I'm getting like a 500, like a big 500 pill bottle of
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
leaf or something like that. Pissing in that.
I think
With the pills still in it.
I'm getting
It's like yeah, it's like boba.
I'm getting the little sauce versions, the sauce dish versions of the mason jars with the little screw-on lids, and I'm gonna piss in that.
Mason jar full of piss.
Yep.
Hell yeah, that's kind of a power move.
Thank you.
I'm thinking like Tupperware container. Like a
the-
big
the-
one.
But the lid isn't secure.
That only has to make it from my house to the hospital.
They make ones that are like sealed tight. They have like a little
Oh, yeah, the
lock, on
lock?
them, and you can
Ooh.
push it down in the middle, and it makes it like airtight.
Or
Airtight piss.
if I frequently
The doctor opens it, just flies everywhere.
pressurized,
Explodes like a pop.
Yeah.
you gotta have like the little thing on the side of it to let out the pressure first. If I'm frequently getting my piss tested,
As one does.
I'm gonna invest in not bottles to put my piss in, but rather a beer bottler, so where I could piss into an empty beer bottle and then cork it with a cap and give it to them to open with the bottle opener at the hospital.
I feel like I was hearing like songs from God.
It's my next album.
Songs from God.
Yeah,
I think
I'm just producing.
Mine's airtight piss.
I think I'm going resealable beer bottle.
I'm
no,
going
no,
mason
not
jar.
resealable.
Yeah.
You know what? Any size mason
I want to
jar
seal it.
full of piss.
I want to drink the alcohol. Obviously. I want to piss.
to fill yourself up.
Right, to fill myself up. To fill myself up.
With
And
pre-piss.
then piss in the bottle, return it to the medical clinic.
Now, if I'm gonna pinch,
Oh, I'll pinch you.
if I'm gonna pinch to make some piss and drop it off, like, say I go to my doctor's appointment Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Hey, we're probably gonna need a urine sample, right?" They're telling me this. I don't have it set up that I'm getting one yet, but we're probably gonna need one down the road, right?
Mm-hmm.
They give me that forewarning as they do. You know, sometime we're gonna need one from you.
In the future,
Yeah.
you know,
Nothing-
you'll
nothing
be back.
specific,
He's,
yeah.
he's a frequent flyer.
Yeah. Frequent flyer miles, frequent pissing miles. If they tell me that, and I'm like, well, shit, I need to get this knocked out. I don't have time to wait. Did you turn off the laptop?
No.
Okay. If I don't have time to
This
wait,
time, I swear.
if I don't have time to wait, I'm getting in my car, and I'm emptying out the rest of my energy drink, and I'm pissing in the can and bringing it right back in. Say, here it is, fresh.
Now it has energy drink in your piss.
Let him
There,
know.
listen,
Let 'em
there was
know.
going to be energy drink in my piss either way.
Right, let him know that the beast is inside. the beast within.
Yeah.
You're
That's Monster's
pissing
slogan or something like that.
Yeah.
Straight energy
Unleash the
drink.
beast.
Unleash the beast. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, from whence it came, right?
From whence it came.
I drank the monster.
The piss from whence it came.
Yeah, I drank the monster from the can. The monster went through my esophagus into my bladder,
Here's a better question.
created piss, and
no.
now it's going back in the can.
No.
What do you mean?
Here's
no?
a $1 million question
Yeah.
right here. Why don't they just have you like do a little piss onto the sample thing and then take that right to? Why don't you just piss at the facility where they test your piss instead of having to mail it out to some place?
Yeah, well, normally when they do that, it's because like you're on something, right? Like they prescribe you something, and then days after taking it, they want to test your piss to make sure it worked. Right?
Oh,
It's usually to like
I
a
guess-
long-term thing.
I was thinking more in terms of like a drug test, like if you're drug tested for work.
Well, they never send a drug test home. You just go and you piss.
You could take a drug test home.
That's crazy. That's
Sometimes
crazy
they
talk.
watch you take a drug test.
Also crazy, but very understandable why.
Yeah, right.
Um,
All right.
I'm
Well.
just saying, like, if you go into the hospital and they just give you the litmus strip, the little pH strip to take into the bathroom with you,
I'm peeing right on it.
I don't think they want to touch it after. I think that's the big
Well,
issue.
no, you hold it far enough away, and you just kind
There's a
of
lot of room for error.
aim. Or you hold it above and you dip.
I'm not questioning your aim. I'm questioning the doctor's grabbing. 216-859-8699. How do you do your piss tests?
What's the difference between the shirt you're currently wearing and the one that I am? Well, both do their job of concealing us from the outside world and social boundaries. But one little black swoosh makes yours cost nearly double. That red rectangle may not change how warm you are, but it certainly changes the price tag. The truth is, nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Have a laugh at the big brand clothing company's expense with shirts that simply say sports team, political statement, music band, and more. A shirt for any occasion and the perfect gift. GenericClothes.com.
And now, a WSRR radio filibuster.
So Jeff Jarrett was a champion in his father Jerry Jarrett's promotion, and he was getting super over, so the WWF at the time wanted to sign him and bring him in, and they didn't know how to package this guy because everyone knew him as the promoter's son already, so they made a country music star, Jeff Jarrett, but the problem was he didn't actually know how to sing, and they wanted him to sing his own songs and vignettes like he was on CMT or a music channel, right? So they got Road Dogg Jesse James, who was known at the time as Brian Armstrong, the son of Bullet Bob Armstrong, and they repackaged him as the roadie so he could be Jeff Jarrett's assistant because Jeff Jarrett was a country music star, so he'd be the roadie, and the roadie could sing. So they got the actual guy, Brian James, to sing Jeff Jarrett's song, and then when people started realizing that the voice in the song kind of sounds like the guy that Jeff Jarrett is running around with, they turned it into an angle, so the roadie was exposed as being the actual singer behind Be With My Baby Tonight, and Jeff Jarrett had a whole angle about how he was actually just lip-syncing the entire time, and then that led to a blow-off feud between the two of them, and consequently, at the same time, the Honky Tonk Man was doing a singing gimmick with his assistant being Rockabilly as his protege, which was Billy Gunn, and they split relatively about the same time that Jeff Jarrett and the roadie split, so Rockabilly and the roadie were both not doing anything, so they started tagging together, and they became the Road Dogg Jesse James and the badass Billy Gunn, the new age outlaws, and, well, we know where it went from there.
Hi, this is Melissa,
And hey, it's Matt.
coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
We are a recording and production studio located on the south side near Chicago.
Check us out online at synergymusicstudio.com. We offer recording, mixing, and mastering.
And follow us on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
The Rebel Radio Show is live at 5.
Stop saying Daryl the Wild Man show. Well, as if it was like a show that was on it. Well, that's not a thing.
Every Monday on WSRR Radio.
Welcome.
There
the hell
we
did you do to
go.
my mic?
Sorry, I went and I clicked the wrong.
We're live on Cut
Yeah.
and Uncensored here. You know the drill.
Cut my damn mic pretty fucking good. 216-859-8699 to text into the Rebel Hotline. We're
I
brought
can
to
do
you
it again.
by Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago for recording, mixing, mastering, producing, or more. Synergy Music Studio is your one-stop shop. Even if you're not in the Chicago area, take advantage of their reamping service. They will expertly craft a track specific to each client's need. Visit synergymusicstudio.com today to get started for your next EP, single, or album release. synergymusicstudio.com has you covered. Again, make sure you download the WSRR Radio mobile app in your app store today. Take us with you wherever you go, pair with your car stereo, or even download the song from the artist you're listening to help support them directly right from the app. That's the WSRR Radio mobile app.
Yes!
In your app store today. Also, don't forget, the 26th of July, July 26th, that would be, the WSRR Rebelthon. From 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., 12 hours of live radio, music, guests, interviews, shows, and more right here on WSRR Radio as we try to offset some funds to help support that app and our new radio contract. And go ahead.
Yeah! It was hurting. It's starting to hurt a little bit.
You're squirting a little bit too.
Hurting and squirting. Yep.
Hurting for squirting, you know.
216-859-8699. And once again, that Rebel hotline to text in. We had a couple during the break that said, wait till you get 50 and you have to do a poop sample.
Ooh.
Ew.
Or you voluntarily do a poop sample as a power move. Show
I'm
up
just giving this to
and
you.
say, I'm taking one.
Yeah. I want you to test my... Can you do that?
Yeah, you can have your shit tested.
You can just walk up into a hospital and say, "Hey, test my poop."
Well, you
I've
can,
just
you
been-
can
and
request it.
slap it on the table.
Probably. I guess I
It's
don't
like a
see
piss
why
test.
you couldn't. I guess I don't see why... There's no reason that you can't. It's weird, but there's no reason that
You can go and get a physical for no reason.
Yeah, right.
So like you can go and be like, hey, I need a piss test
Right.
for recreation when they
Right.
ask you what it's for.
Recreational piss test.
Just want to make sure that I am clean.
I just wanted to keep it around.
Yeah, I just want to know that I'm not on drugs,
Show off my stats.
so I can show my friends
Yeah.
that I'm sober.
Yeah.
you know?
Trade. Grab a couple. Trade
Flex
them
on
with
your
my
friends. Get a piss test.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, next time you get a piss test, can I keep that
Yeah.
after you're done? Can I get
Yeah.
that back? It's like your tonsils, you know?
Oh yeah.
We also got one that said piss in a styrofoam cup is the way to turn it in.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not
So-
good. That's not a good one either. I'm not
Especially if like your piss starts eating through the cup, then you
Oh
don't
my
even need to
gosh.
test. You know something's
Yeah,
wrong.
you have toxic piss.
Yeah.
It's my band name.
Yeah, we've all been there. I say in the Faygo bottle personally.
The red pop?
People are dying over the red pop these days.
So I've heard.
There was a holdup in Saginaw, Michigan, right?
Yes.
At a bank, and a man comes in, 30-something-year-old man comes in to rob the bank, ends up holding up, I believe, the teller at gunpoint,
Okay, makes sense. Sounds it's going according to plan.
and has this bank on lockdown, holds it up, and hours, this down standoff, cops are outside the building trying to get the person out safely,
Right.
trying to get this guy arrested at least, and he starts making demands because it's a hostage situation. I guess that's protocol. You can do that when you got a hostage.
One of the only time I think it's interesting that in
That's what I've done.
in hostage situations and on death row, they're like, actually, you know what? What do you want? what are you feeling?
I get the thought process behind it, but like if you've done something bad enough to be on death row, why are we giving you lobster?
That's where I'm going with
Yeah.
this too. Like, obviously, Faygo Red Pop is 99 cents.
That's a delicacy.
But it's cheap. You can get that. That's a dime a dozen, baby. Or 99 cents. That's $10 a dozen, baby. You know?
Listen, there's like nations that collect foreskins and shit. That's cheap,
Ew.
but it's
What?
still a legacy. It's still something to cherish, just like the Faygo Red Pop.
You compare Faygo Red Pop to...
Have you tasted Faygo Red Pop?
Yeah, it's definitely...
It's a choice.
I don't...
People are dying over it, Shane.
People are.
So, long story short, this guy wants a Faygo Red Pop for his hostage situation. The only thing he requested, nothing else. It wasn't like, I want wings and some cash and a helicopter to get out of here.
Good for this guy.
He wanted a Faygo Red Pop, 99 cents.
Yeah.
So they fly one in on a drone, and they have it suspended from the drone. The guy goes to reach for the Faygo Red Pop, and they take the shot. The whole plan was, all right, we're going to have this drone fly a little bit out of his reach in front of the window, and he's going to reach for it, and we're going to take our shot.
Which, like, okay, here's my other... Like, if you're the guy...
The Faygo guy?
If you're the Faygo guy...
Yeah. A criminal.
If you're the criminal, you... I mean, it's one of those things where they're asking for a Faygo Red Pop, so there can't be Rego Fed Pop.
Yeah.
You're gonna laugh. You like that one?
I
All
did
right.
like that one.
They asked for a Faygo Red Pop. They can't be that
They got
smart.
a Fed Pop, though.
They got a Fed Pop, though, for sure. But, like, you would think,
Now they
as
got
soon
popped
as
by the
I
feds.
go to the window, as soon as I walk into... As soon as I'm exposed...
Right.
They're going to shoot me. Clearly, he didn't think that.
Well, I mean, I don't think he thought this through, first of all.
Probably didn't think much of anything
He's holding up
through.
a bank,
Yeah.
so, like, not the smartest person to begin with, right?
Right. I guess that's a fair point.
But also, to your point, yes, like, again, all he wanted was a Faygo Red Pop. Like, that was it. That was the hill he was willing to die on and did.
And did.
So, like,
Yeah.
I don't think he's really thinking this through at any instance. He got his pop, and he was so enamored by it, he didn't give it a second thought. He's like, oh, here it is for me. Never mind that it's suspended from a drone in front of the window that I'm going to have to walk over to get.
Yeah.
Never mind that part of it. I am thirsty. And
That's also
there's only one
suspicious.
thing that can quench my thirst.
I guess it's like a situation of how do you get the Red Pop over there.
That's, you know, I wonder how many times that was. How am I going to get my Red Pop? The guy in the store, in the bank, was thinking, how am I going to get my Red Pop now that I've demanded it?
Well, how are you going to drink the Red Pop? Wait a minute.
What
You're
do you
holding
mean?
a hostage, dude.
You know, like, guns work at proximity.
Yeah,
You
but
can, like, hey, sit over there while I take a swig.
yeah, as soon as they take a swig, I'm running. They're off their guard. They're relaxed. They got their Red Pop in hand.
It's a good day for them.
I'm bolting. I'm running.
You think you're going to have enough time to make it out?
The dude asked for a Faygo Red Pop. I could probably
You're
walk
right. He's
out.
probably going to drink the whole thing in one chug.
could probably walk out of there backwards.
Pretty good.
I just don't understand. At
Just okay.
at one point, he was asked, "What do you want?" And he goes, Faygo Red Pop." Like, what? How is that the thing that you think of to ask for?
You think the cops laughed?
Well, okay.
I hope so.
No, he's definitely a juggalo. First of all,
Right.
Drinking the
'Cause,
Faygo.
yeah, who else?
It's definitely
Yeah.
definitely a what are they called?
A juggalo.
Jughead? Aren't they called something?
They're called juggalos.
Yeah,
Juggalos?
juggalos.
Yeah.
I thought they were called something else.
I think
Whatever.
you're treading very dangerous on a racial term
No.
if you try and say anything else other than juggalo.
I think they're juggalos.
They are.
But I think this guy was probably a juggalo.
Yeah.
Drinking that Faygo Red Pop. I've only ever had Faygo probably like 4 or 5 times.
Was it Red Pop?
I don't think so. But I will say
So you don't know then?
Cherokee Red's definitely better.
Maybe. Maybe.
Cherokee Red is definitely better.
So this is going to sound racist. Growing up, Cherokee Red was a staple at like Christmas parties, things like that.
Yeah.
Big family get-together. Someone always had the 2-liter of Cherokee Red.
Love it.
But no one in my family ever called it Cherokee Red. Because I guess we couldn't remember the name.
All right.
Called it Red Man Pop.
Yeah, that's not...
Because it was Red Pop and it had a man on it.
That's,
Not because he was an Indian.
yes. Sure.
But Red Man Pop.
Yeah, right.
It worked on 2 levels, you know?
It did.
It's some good marketing.
Cherokee Red was one of my favorite pops ever.
It's
and I
good.
feel like I don't
It'll
see
stain
it.
everything.
Yeah. It's so good, though.
Big Red, fucking awful.
Big Red is not bad.
Have you tried it recently?
I guess not recently.
I had it like 4 years ago.
I
Pretty
only
recent.
chew Big Red, buddy.
Yeah, are they different companies?
Legally, how does that work if they are?
That's what I'm saying.
But I think they are. Because, like, Big Red doesn't taste like cinnamon, but Big Red tastes like cinnamon.
Right. And I know what you mean.
But Big Red tastes like bubblegum, was my point. Like, I've had it recent enough to where, like, I expected it to taste like like Red Man Pop.
Yeah, right.
But it tasted like bubblegum, and that's why I hated it. It didn't taste like a Red Pop. Like,
Interesting.
certainly didn't taste like Faygo Red Pop.
Well, they could have
Interesting.
also changed the recipe.
Probably did.
The Red Pops that we grew up on are probably
Probably
half
different.
illegal.
Well,
I was going to say, there's not going to be Red Pop for much
Yeah.
longer.
well, no. I wonder if a lot of these Red Pop brands were like, "Oh, Red 40 is very contentious."
Then
Let's
that's our
just-
main ingredient.
Let's just use some. Like, I wonder if all of the brands that are specifically we make red things moved over to like a different red dye. You know what I mean?
I would bet you... So Red Dye 40.
40.
They use other red dyes, though, right? Like, there's Red Dye 30 and 20.
Assume? I have no
5?
fucking clue. I have no idea how food color dyes work.
And Red Dye 40 was just outlawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's always been like
Yeah,
that makes
sus.
you well
Well, because
it's-
we're the only country that hadn't outlawed it.
right for like years,
Yeah.
for a long time.
I'd bet you money that if anyone was still using Red Dye 40, it's Faygo Red Pop. I bet
probably
you
right.
money on that.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Of
that-
all of the Red Pop brands,
Of all of the Red Pops,
Yeah.
Faygo Red. It's only 99 cents.
yeah, Faygo.
They were pumping
was
that shit full of
definitely.
it.
I
And
wanna,
it was so good.
I'm sidestepping.
Yeah.
I want to try the firework Faygo.
You
That's the-
just told me you didn't like Faygo.
I've only ever. I told you I've only.
Moon Mist?
I've only ever had it like a couple times.
Root beer cola?
Moon Mist is just Sprite or like Sierra Mist.
Moon Mist is not good.
I don't need to try cotton candy pop.
Yeah, no, that's gross. Big Red is that.
All of the other ones already exist as another pop flavor.
That's fair.
So I don't need. There's no essential need.
No
to
one
try
has
Faygo,
ever needed Faygo. Let me make
except
that
for
very clear.
That's Juggalos.
It's true.
But the firework one, I've never seen that before, and I want to try it.
Weird that Faygo's still around. How is that a profitable?
It's a
Juggalos, I
Juggalo.
guess. Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. the Juggalos are definitely the ones like solely keeping
Yeah,
Faygo afloat
for sure.
because they'll probably buy pallets of it for like the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Right.
Them and
shit like
Dollar
that.
Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Juggalos probably shop at Dollar Tree.
You think ICP has stock in Faygo? They have to, right?
Absolutely.
I would hope at this point.
Because they're definitely the main like purchasers of it.
Yeah.
Let me know the last time you had a Faygo. 216-859-8699.
Don't let yourself settle for those other guys.
So that's not your voice on the air?
No, it's just a computerized simulation of it.
So that's why they don't take requests anymore.
Nah, those days are over.
Keep it tuned right here to WSRR, Styles Rebel Radio.
If LimeWire taught us anything, your digital music is free and open to piracy, and even manipulation when it comes to digital distribution. So why settle for a bunch of ones and zeros floating around on the internet? Make your release something special with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbender is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants and works with local artists to get their next release pressed exactly to their liking. So check out Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl pressing plant today by visiting hellbendervinyl.com to get started. And don't forget, all customers at Hellbender Vinyl get 5 free test presses at no additional charge. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
The following is an unpaid public service announcement from the Styles Rebel Radio Health and Hygiene Committee.
Hey, just next time you have some trash with you, next time anytime you're done using something and you have a trash, and then it's trash, do not litter it and throw it in the garbage can instead. Okay.
Hi, this is Melissa.
And hey, it's Matt.
Hi guys, my name is Ari.
Coming at you from Synergy Music Studio. Come through to a Synergy Naked session.
Synergy Naked is a live performance recording, also captured on video. Look for our releases on YouTube at Synergy Music Studio.
We're located on the south side near Chicago. Passing through.
Hit up our DMs on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Are you ready, kids? It's me, distinctively non-copyright, unspecified Sponge Man, and you're listening to the Rebel Radio Show on WSRR. Make the switch.
Not gonna lie, we talked about different red drinks the entire fucking break.
It's a captivating topic. I'm not gonna
Honestly,
lie.
we're gonna do a whole hour on it. On the best red drink.
Next hour, all red pop.
All red pop.
Hell yeah.
Red man pop, and then red Faygo, red pop Faygo, Faygo red pop.
I feel like I need to try all of the Faygos compared to their like regular. Like I want to try grape Faygo next to
Grape Crush.
Right, Grape Crush, and like see which one is.
I promise you, every single time, Faygo is not gonna win.
But they have firework flavor.
Sure.
That's so cool.
Here's what we'll do. We'll do a case study. We'll knock out 2 birds with 1 baseball. Here's what we'll do. Next week, all of the red pop. We'll get Cherokee Red and Big Red and Faygo. And we'll do a case study. Not only will we determine the best red pop, but we will see how the effect of Red Dye 40 affects a 2-hour radio show.
Oh, gosh.
I wonder if they're... I don't know if I said this on air last, but like I wonder if they still are used. Like, will there be any Red Dye 40 in these?
Faygo, I'd put money on it.
Well, yeah, still Faygo,
Probably.
of course.
I believe there's like there's a certain time period where like these products have to get
you have until
rid
2028.
of-
Oh,
yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, no, you got a long
We
time.
could be consuming Red Dye 40 for
Like, yeah, you got a couple
while.
years until you got to get it out.
Hey, you guys got to get rid of this, but no rush.
I guess
No
that's like,
rush.
well, I guess that's probably like how long it's in the market.
Shelf
cycle
life,
or
yeah.
Shelf life, right.
216-859-8699 if you've been consuming Red Dye 40 during this radio show today. Hey, download the WSR Radio mobile app from your app store, or go ahead.
Yes!
Or go to WSRRradio.com to get the direct links there as well. We're brought to you by Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA. They're one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants and help support local and independent artists. So if you want to make your next album release something special, go to hellbendervinyl.com today to get started. We're also brought to you by GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Perfect for any occasion or gift. Tell the big brand clothing companies to suck it and have a laugh at their expense with GenericClothes.com. Proud supporters of WSRR Radio and local independent music. Honestly, we could talk about Red Pop for another 2 hours if we really wanted to.
Really quick, I'll tell the listeners at home. That scream, that's not going to be regular. I'm going to do that for this episode only. That's all you're getting. That shit hurted.
You're going to have no voice by the end of this, and it's not from talking. It's just going to be from the screams intermittently.
Like I smoke.
Well, you do. I mean, you smoke 32 packs of Marlboro Reds. No.
Marlboro
Meths.
They finally commercialized it. I figured, why not try it out?
You know what? They're selling fucking.
That's the Marlboro Pinks. That's what those are.
They're selling fucking ketamine and shit again now. So why not? Why not Marlboro Meths?
Yeah,
That's
buddy.
the next logical step in the equation. We could talk about Red Pop for another 2 hours, and honestly, I think that's the most pressing thing in the news.
Yeah, it really. There's nothing else that I can think of that has happened within the span of like the last couple of months.
I mean, you want to talk about less serious things? I guess we can talk about Diddy and Epstein.
Yeah, I guess if you want, but that's like silly shit.
We're leaving the Red Pop conversation on the table, but for right now, we'll focus on Diddy and Epstein.
We're putting the adults to bed. It's time for kitty time.
Yeah, kitty talk time. Literally.
Shit.
Well, not according to the government.
Right. So
whoa.
One of these is breaking as of today. One of these has been out for about a week now. So let's start with the Diddy one.
So
Diddy was acquitted on 3 of his counts.
So okay,
3 of
Sean
5?
Diddy Combs
Yes.
was found guilty of 2 out of 5 of his counts.
Right.
The counts he was found guilty on were, transportation for prostitution involving 2 women. That one was involving Cassie Ventura.
Who is the main woman suing him.
And then the
other one was another prostitution charge.
Yeah, the other one was also prostitution.
One was traveling and one was actually just prostitution.
Each count carry a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison. He was acquitted of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and it looks like the judge denied bail on his
sentence,
current sentence, and he will remain in custody until sentencing.
Yeah. I feel like what Styles said. He's not gonna serve the full 20.
No,
they'll probably give him the full 20, but
he won't serve.
There's no chance in hell that he serves full 20 years. He'll probably serve 5, 7.
I say he serves maximum a year, and then they give him house arrest or probation, or because you got to think. And the more I thought about this, the more it made sense, because the only other thing Diddy was ever known for was being a fucking narc. That was the only other thing he was ever known for, was working with feds.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously, he's going to fucking get off scot-free for this shit.
Right.
This is a slap on the wrist.
It is. It's very much a slap on. It's like
it's a joke.
He knew he got away with it, sort of thing.
This is our OJ.
I was literally going to say, this is OJ, this is Casey Anthony, this is
OJ. Well, we were alive for Casey Anthony.
Yeah, but I mean,
we were young. It's just one of those things where it's like ridiculous, but not surprised, and I think that kind of follows the trend of the next one too.
Right. So the next one, obviously, being Epstein, which I have a lot to say on very specific instances with this.
Well, what specifically happened with Epstein?
Right.
So when it came out early this morning that they do not have any proof of any...
Well, no, yesterday, as of recording, it came out that there is no list. They said there's no Epstein list. There's no one associated with Epstein. We don't have any further information on it. This morning, it was made official that they ruled his death an official suicide after investigation. And they're done. They're done investigating the Epstein cases. Here's my issue.
The FBI has concluded they have no evidence that convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein blackmailed powerful figures, kept a client list, or was murdered.
Here's a picture right here of everybody holding the Epstein list, by the way.
Yeah. Well, some of the Epstein.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
a
1/3 of it, or whatever they said.
A piece
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, the 80,000 files that they had initially for the Epstein list, that was only a portion of it. And Pam Bondi said, well, I have the whole thing on my desk, and we're going through it one by one. That
And
didn't exist. The
also-
one that they held up right there doesn't exist now, is what we're being told.
Wasn't this exact list used in what's-her-face Maxwell's case? Isn't she serving 20 years right now?
I saw it. So I saw this break, and I didn't I didn't see it as it broke or anything like that. But I saw the headline, and I didn't read it, but I was reading through comments, and someone said oh, so then Ghislaine Maxwell can go home, right? She's free, right?
Yeah. At
And
this
it's
point, that's what they're saying.
Interesting, crazy work, crazy work.
She probably does have to be resentenced under the eyes of the law because she was found guilty of a crime and sentenced for that crime. So there's probably how they want to do the Menendez brothers, let them out and all that.
Which is, I think that have we talked
Yeah,
about
we
that?
talked
Yeah, we
about
talked
that.
a little bit about it.
Crazy.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah,
Fucking
crazy.
stupid. They murdered. I don't care what the fucking circumstance. They murdered 2 people. They fucking killed 2 people.
Yeah.
I don't care what the circumstances are with Diddy or Epstein. They need to go to fucking prison.
Yes.
Well, they're in prison.
Well, one of them is.
The other one's dead.
Right.
Yeah.
By suicide.
Officially.
Yeah.
Can't believe that. That's so crazy.
The blatant hypocrisy. It just, because everyone knows. And we sat here fucking years ago and said, there's no way, this has been an ongoing investigation for 6 years now.
Right.
For 6 years, we've had no fucking breakthrough on the Epstein files because everybody who's looking into it's on them.
Right.
So for 6 years, we've said, oh yeah, watch the stream. For 6 years.
I know, I'm terrified.
Yeah. For 6 years, we fucking sat here and been taken off air and taken off Facebook and banned from Facebook and had fucking audio deleted and shows taken down because for 6 years, there's been no fucking breakthrough on the Epstein files. Now we finally get to a point where they say we're going to investigate the files. We got to the point where this picture exists right here of 4, 5, 6 different people holding up binders of portions of the list, and Pam Bondi saying we have the files and we're going through them and we're actively looking through the list and we're going to be releasing them periodically, just to fucking turn around and say, oh, there's no list. The thing that I've been talking about for the past 6 months, it doesn't exist. The thing that I said was on my desk that I'm holding in my hand doesn't exist. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Kind of
So apparently 50 Cent called Diddy the gay John Gotti because he got off on some.
Yeah. I feel like
Diddy will never outlive this, though. I hope.
You
the
would
freak
think
offs,
that
the bottles and bottles and bottles of baby oil.
People are buying Chris Brown tickets, so he'll be fine.
Did you see the people celebrating outside of the courthouse with the baby oil? People,
wait, what?
People are celebrating.
People were dumping baby oil on people and not unconsented, but celebrating and dumping baby oil and dancing.
As if someone had won the Daytona 500 with champagne. Yeah,
there was a standing ovation in the courthouse. It looked like a movie scene. Yeah. But the protagonist is winning.
Right.
I don't know how much payoff was happened here. I want to know who got paid what.
Because
there was a jury, right? It wasn't a judge decision. A jury decided this.
Yeah. Well, it's
yeah, the jury. It was a jury.
There was a jury.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably they all did then.
Right.
I would guess. I don't know.
That or every single person on that jury needs to be tried and investigated for being a pedophile.
Did they have it's one of those things where I really do wonder how much people get threatened IRL. I was just having a conversation with someone of how much crime do you think that you see just happened, or that person walking down the street just did something that was super illegal, but obviously we don't know because we're driving and that person's on the side of
I think about that all the time because there's people who will find people who have been kidnapped because they're waving their hand out of the trunk. Sometimes I think, oh, there could just be people in somebody's trunk driving around me.
And so my point being is shit like that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And so does shit getting shaken, like being a juror and getting shaken down by
being a juror
3
in
or 4
this
fat ass
trial?
thugs, like
Right.
big fat ass thugs, being like, "You're gonna say this," and that's how it's gonna go. Otherwise, these pictures of these people that are,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
like does shit like that happen?
The jurors in this
I don't
trial have to have been like shitting bricks and paid off 100%.
My problem is the same thing is going to happen with us that did with Epstein. It's all going to be swept on the rug in under a year.
Yeah,
And everyone's going to say, yeah, that was fucked up. Anyway, the next news story,
I
that's
think,
my problem. And what we should be doing is going and investigating the fucking jurors and
Yeah.
how they came to this conclusion.
I think it will be split. Like you said, Chris Brown's still selling tickets. There are people who have very famously done bad
Yeah.
things and are still infamous, right?
Mhm.
Infamously done
Yeah.
bad things and are still very famous. And I think it will just get a split reaction down the middle. I think that there will be people like us who are like, this is absolutely atrocious and fucked up, and
Normal, smart people.
the world is wrong. And I think that there will be people who are very okay with ignorance is bliss and turning the other cheek and separating art from artist. And I think that's just the reality of it. I think that's how, like, most everything is today. I don't think that there is anything that is ever as cut and dry as even we make it out to. Like, obviously we are all very like-minded people, and so we say, like, this shit's crazy, this shit's dumb, what the fuck is going on? There are people who are like, yeah, but Puffy's last album wasn't bad, and he
Right.
could come back. Or there are women
Which
who are
is
like, yeah,
crazy.
but and get even freakier, I bet that there are women who are like, yeah, but if I just hang around his shows enough, I will get invited to a freak off, and I will be a part of that.
Right.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
people wanting to be a part of that shit, and especially now that it's had light on it, even more people are going to be like, you know what, this is how I get famous, or this is how I make money.
I'm waiting. 2 thoughts. I'm waiting for this trial to result in a slap on the wrist punishment, where it's going to be like
Yeah.
maybe a year in a minimum security prison and 6 months
He's
house
gonna-
arrest, and then I'm waiting for him to flee the country.
I think that, yeah, he'll probably try to flee the country at some point. I think, or like he'll find like a legal loophole to
Right.
be in another country,
Right.
and how did I get here, sort of
Right.
thing. I think that he will probably get the book thrown at him, though, just for the fact that only 2 of them stuck, and so I would bet the courts are getting a lot of pushback
Right.
from that, of like, what the fuck?
Right.
Only 2 of 5? Are you kidding me?
But I don't know if they are, because they could have gotten a pat on the back from the FBI.
Yeah, but I feel like
good job,
I was
buddy.
going to say, yeah, the FBI just fucking told us that the Epstein shit doesn't exist. So
there are people in the courthouse, though, who definitely think like us,
Right.
and are like, hey, something weird is going on. Like, it's not all hush hush.
Right.
They're definitely getting some push, and so I do think that he's getting the full. At least if I had to take a stab, I'd say he probably gets the full 20 and then gets off on 5 or
Yeah.
2 and 3 on house arrest,
How long
and then
has
flees.
he already been in? Because he's going to get that time served, guaranteed.
6 months or
Yeah,
something like that.
probably a little over 6
Yeah.
months. Not a
Yeah.
year, but a little over
Right.
6 months.
They're going to
'cause
give
that's
him
gonna
that
count
time
towards
off.
it, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially because he was denied bail,
Yeah.
that money or that time in jail automatically comes off if you
Right.
don't take bail.
Second point, all of these people who came out and spoke out against him, these celebrities that came out and spoke out against him and tried to actively expose him, if they don't follow up with what the fuck are we doing? Why is he getting a slap on the wrist
Right.
and continue to pursue this further? If they don't continue to pursue this further, fuck them too.
Right.
Fuck them too. If you have someone like, I don't remember the whole situation with Justin Bieber, but he was pretty vital in exposing all this, right?
Yeah, I think he was just kind of like the one that was there, being so young.
He was the child in the room.
Right.
Notably the youngest one there, and now is also still super famous, so he
Yeah.
can kind of be like...
He kinda
people are
has a
like, oh, wait a
safety
minute.
net
You
of
were
that famous.
you were a part of that Diddy thing, weren't you?
So like if him and everyone else that were on the side of like this is a bad dude, don't continue to push that.
And that random one little girl that we talked about months ago. You remember
Oh
that?
yeah, she was on like live stream with
Yeah.
him.
Oh yeah,
and he was being like, "This is my new daughter" or
Yeah.
something like that. That was fucking crazy.
yeah. So if all these people that came and spoke out against this don't continue to and don't push the fucking,
Oh, there'll be
fuck them.
There'll still be people. I'm sure
But
that
I would bet you more of them just roll over and go, well, that's over now.
probably a good portion of them, but like there will be people who are going to be fighting this, and like I would assume he gets like laughed at by a majority of people, like brought up in conversation as the punchline sort of thing, you know, in big events, or if a comedian is at an award show hosting, Diddy's the punchline now, you know. He's a super easy punching bag, and everyone who's right-minded would be like, yeah, that's fucked up, you know.
And in 2 years, he'll be sitting in the audience laughing along with it. They'll be making the jokes with him in the room, and he'll be laughing along with it.
Maybe.
They'll pan
I
the
don't know.
camera
I
to
could
him.
genuinely see him like fleeing, or like just keeping a low profile for the rest of his life, you know. Look at someone like
That would be the hope.
Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey got caught for doing all that weird shit with minors.
Well, that was
and-
actually all proven.
I was gonna say,
wrong.
didn't he get acquitted for all
Yeah.
that shit and it was fake?
Yeah.
But he still got like
He still got black.
Yeah, like he
listed
didn't.
from-
You didn't see him anywhere. He was in
Right.
part of like the biggest Netflix show
Right.
at the time, and he was just gone.
Wasn't he like one of the first though?
He was like
Probably.
the first big one.
So I think we all just kind of attacked him, and then everybody else who's come after that were
I'm
like,
just-
"Oh, well,
I-
that's Hollywood."
I was just using Kevin Spacey as an example, but
yeah,
there
but-
have definitely been
Yeah.
people who have been like quote unquote canceled who were huge, and now we just don't talk about them anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're dead.
James Franco,
Yeah, right. James Franco is
James
still,
Marsden.
There are still people like there are still who's the guy who liked eating people?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh no! Army Hammer.
Army
Hammer.
Army Hammer. He
Yeah.
was like an A-list celebrity.
I mean,
he was in the runnings to be Green Lantern.
Listen,
Yeah.
we talked about all Ezra Miller shit, and we had people defending him on the YouTube comments on
Yeah,
our
right.
fucking channel.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think it's one of those things
And then here's
where
The Flash.
like parasocial and the Flash didn't do bad in theaters.
No.
It's
And
one
it
of
was
those
a
things
good
where
movie.
it was parasocial relationships and like fan bases,
Yeah.
fandoms. You know what I mean? The One Directioneers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That is where shit like Diddy and Chris Brown and like the obviously bad people who keep coming back and they're like, oh, I'll just make an album and send an apology. It's like that's the issue, you know.
And that's never going to go away. There's
No.
still people that'll fucking advocate for Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
It's 2025, and there's people that go, yeah, he did something bad, but wasn't he good in the ring? You don't think the one overshadows the other? You don't
Yeah,
think
right.
one's more important?
Yeah, I mean, Punk got cheered at Night of Champions.
It's true. It's true.
Literally. Like, and the marks were like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I just don't think he's going to fucking... I don't think anything's actually going to come of this.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. I think, again, it'll be a slap on the wrist for maybe a year or two,
I
and then
think
it'll be right back to it.
in the judicial system, he'll get like a slap on the wrist
He
in
might
terms
get
of
5 years.
Yeah, I think
Well, and here's the important part that we're talking about both of these today, the Epstein and the Diddy thing together,
Yeah.
and how close in proximity they came.
Right.
The Epstein verdict this morning,
Mhm.
set the precedent now of someone like a Diddy or anyone that was on this Epstein list going, oh, well, we saw, everyone knew about Epstein.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
publicized for half a decade
Right.
how bad this dude was and all the things he did, and the court turned around and said, nope, didn't happen. So we've
Right.
set the precedent now. What stops someone from Diddy like going back to this? What stops anyone on that list from continuing to do this? Because they go, well, the federal government ruled it's fine. Didn't happen. If we wait long enough people will forget and it'll blow over.
Well, and I think kind of too, that's part of why I say like I think Diddy's going to kind of fall off the radar intentionally, because I would have to assume that life is much easier for him to get back into
Sure.
and much more profitable, as opposed to him trying to be famous again.
That's fair, yeah.
And show up at like the VMAs.
He
and-
will probably be worse going forward.
Right, like he's gonna lay low in Tijuana or something
Yeah.
like that, and he's gonna do the same shit,
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
He's gonna lay low on Epstein's island.
and he's gonna make the same amount of money. You
Diddy
know?
buying Epstein's island?
Literally, Diddy Steen,
Diddy Island?
Ep Diddy.
Ep Diddy.
God.
Yeah.
They're transforming.
You're becoming one.
Oh, God, it's Ep Diddy.
I know a lot of people were of the opinion that Epstein killing himself, in air quotes, in prison was terrible because he didn't get the punishment he deserved. He took the easy way out, right?
Sure.
I hope that whatever small time Diddy has in prison, his cellmates and prison mates make it the worst experience possible. But again, I think it will be very much minimal security. You're in your own private cell, pampered, three nice meals a day.
From what I read, Diddy's lawyer said that when he got back to the jail that night, there was an eruption of applause. So,
who was OJ's lawyer?
Rob Kardashian.
Rob Kardashian. Yeah.
Didn't he have another lawyer?
No. Rob Kardashian.
That was his buddy.
Thing.
That was
It was
famous.
Yeah, I forget his name.
The Chewbacca defense.
Yeah.
I thought it was Rob Kardashian.
Rob Kardashian was for like some of it, and then the other guy stepped in.
Oh, okay.
I think like halfway through or something like that. The other guy stepped in and started spinning the story to make OJ seem like a good get the people on OJ's side, and that's why there was such a big outcry.
It's crazy. It really is like, but it's not like people weren't murdered, but
I mean, people probably were murdered.
Yeah, we have no idea.
This is sex trafficking. I mean, let's call it what it is. Like, people were definitely like
Johnny Cochran.
Young women definitely have died from these two people.
Yes.
I guess I don't know that for sure, but highly likely.
You're probably right.
That young women have died on the accounts of, and it's one of those things where like the CEO of that insurance company didn't deny those people, but Luigi Mangione did what he did. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Like Jeffrey Epstein might not have directly murdered people, but he was definitely at the top of some ring.
I was going to say, I think there's enough connections that you can make very close to Epstein.
Right.
No, you can't. They don't exist.
Yeah, right. There's enough connections you can make with Epstein, and we've done episodes that have gotten taken down about that, where people have died.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's pretty close relation to Epstein and the people that were behind the trigger. But this lawyer for OJ, he's the next Johnny Cochran, was going to be my point.
The lawyer for Diddy.
Yeah, the lawyer for Diddy, sorry. 216-859-8699. Hey, what's your favorite Red Pop?
WSRR.
Today's mission. Walk by a cop wearing a paper-drawn police badge and say, "Pretty bright day, isn't it, fellow officer?"
Hello. My name is Shane E. I'm bursting through your airwaves today because I wanted to tell you how I'm bursting out of my pants with my hand on my Johnson. I love to rub it, and when I touch it, it is the best. Make sure that you always rub your Johnson. All right. Goodbye.
Hello and good afternoon, WSRR radio listeners. This is Pastor Kurt Presley, and I just want to address some things that have been said on this station, and really, the temptations. And that, of course, we're talking about masturbation. Never is it okay for you to grab your willy and make it silly. Never in your life should you not do that with your wife. Just a reminder from Pastor Kurt Presley not to touch yourself or anybody else. God bless.
Dad didn't leave for cigarettes. He's out in the car, listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio. To my right is Shaney. Hey,
everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Howdy.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Sal. If you want to text in today live, 216-859-8699 is the number to do so. And if you're listening today live, you can do so on Live 365, WSRRradio.com, US-radio.com, or the all-new WSRR Radio mobile app.
Yes! They're getting weaker each time.
They're getting louder, though, too. I don't know if it's
okay.
proximity.
I think I'm just...
Like, you're losing the...
I'm not trying to go for length. I'm trying to go for, like...
Power.
Yeah. Gusto.
Chutzpah.
Yeah.
Mustard.
Yeah.
Mustard. I don't remember what I was saying. The mobile app. You can download the Live 365 WSRR Radio mobile app now from WSRRadio.com. You can get the link for the Apple or Google Play Store on there. If you're on Google Play, as of right now, you might have to jump through a couple more hoops to get it, but it is available right now. That's the WSRR Radio mobile app. We're brought to you by GenericClothes.com. Tell the big brand clothing companies to suck it and have a laugh at their expense. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Proud supporters of WSRR Radio and local independent music. And if you are as well, you can join us on July 26th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's 12 hours of the Rebel-thon right here on WSRR Radio. Perfect to try out that new mobile app with, as we're live for 12 straight hours with shows, interviews, guests, giveaways, and more. 12 straight hours of radio from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. right here on July 26th, 2025. Let's talk about gaming. And before we get too far into this, I do want to run through the litany here for Ubisoft, who we're going to be talking about, because they want you to destroy all copies of games that are no longer online.
And for even more, Ubisoft is a game development company.
Yes.
So or like
Publisher.
a publishing company. So they give money to developing companies who then develop video games.
But the litany, because we sat here and went, well, does Ubisoft even still make games? Because the only one I ever think of is Assassin's Creed.
Right.
That was the biggest Ubisoft title, to my knowledge. So the list of games that Ubisoft has come out with recently: Assassin's Creed Mirage, obviously, Avatar, Frontiers, Star Wars Outlaws, The Crew Motorfest, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, more Assassin's Creed, Skull and Bones, which was the knockoff of
the pirate game.
The Disney pirate game.
Yeah.
Sea of Thieves, is that what it's called? Far Cry 6 they made, Prince of Persia they made, and then the rest are pretty old games. But mainly they're known for the Far Cry series, the Rainbow Six Tom Clancy series, and Assassin's Creed are their three big ones. Moral of the story is I was trying to figure out what games aren't supported that they want you to break.
So going into it a little bit more, Ubisoft has updated its EULA to avoid potential legal issues by discontinuing support for its games.
That's how you're supposed to read that, isn't it? I always...
EULA?
Yeah, I always say the EULA agreement.
The EULA?
That's probably not right.
I mean, EULA. I could refer to it as EULA.
When you boot up a new game and you accept all the terms and services in the EULA.
The EULA, yeah. The EULA now states that the company reserves the right to stop supporting a game at any time for any reason. This has attracted considerable criticism from fans, which further fuels the growing dislike for Ubisoft. Yeah, because Ubisoft was already not super popular. They were big microtransaction people, weren't they?
Yeah.
And they kind of got shit on for that, for making pay to win stuff in their games.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. So over the past few years, Ubisoft, a company once known for its great games, has received nothing but criticism from fans. The company has hit rock bottom, but there is no rock bottom. It continues to fall deeper into the abyss until it becomes bankrupt. The company's value... the company has fallen so low that it wants you to avoid any legal consequences by terminating users' access to products, which aims to do sooner for many legal title or legacy titles.
So is it saying I could get sued if I continue to play this and not smash my game?
I think what it's saying, and Shane alluded to this a little bit, I think what this is primarily trying to avoid is once a server is shut down for a game, say Rainbow Six Siege gets shut down because they're making a new one. Once that server is shut down, I think they're trying to prevent people from being able to restart that server on their own.
Make their own server.
Bootleg it, essentially, PC, start my own private Rainbow Six server.
Right. Pay for a server.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what they're trying to avoid. Because, again, I can't think of a reason that I would have to break Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. a game that's fucking almost 20 years old for my Xbox 360 that really wasn't online to begin with. So I can't think of a reason they'd want me to get rid of that, you know?
Right. It's one of those things where I don't know. Like, they might, even if it's like a single-player offline game, that they might be like, well, you got to break that shit.
Here's the only thing I disagree with, because the one of the big problems was the new EULA agreement states that they're allowed to disconnect the server or stop updating the server and get rid of it at any time for any reason.
Right.
I thought that was just a given for every company ever. That happens very frequently. That company will just say, hey, by the way, that server's offline tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going to stop supporting this game or this eShop or something like that. We're going to stop supporting it starting this day.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's as time progresses, more and more servers get shut down.
Right.
It's crazy there's still like MW2 original servers online. That's wild that people still pay for that.
Right.
Because that's what it is. It's the production company still paying for that to keep it online. They don't have to.
Right.
So when you have something like a 2K or an EA, they do that every year. They shut down the last year's game server. They start the new one to get people to buy the new game.
Right.
Not surprising. So I don't think people should be in an uproar about that. We've seen that enough to where that should be a normal thing.
Sure.
It's the fact that they're saying, yeah, once we do that, there's no need for you to have the game. Just get rid of it. Hell, if you have a disc, break it.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I pay $70 for a game, and you decide that it's no longer available, so I have to get rid of it.
So now I have to break it?
Right.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
If they're going to come out with the statement, they should say, "Oh, send it back to us. We'll give you $30." Something like that.
Yeah,
well,
at the
and
very
then
least,
you're going to get a situation where they're going to bury 1,000 copies in the desert.
It's going to be another ET.
We do love ET. We still never talked about that, did we?
We did. We mentioned it.
We mentioned it, but didn't we want to do like a full episode on that?
I think we did talk about doing an episode on it.
No, we never did.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about it during the Rebel-thon.
Yeah. I just feel like it's such a, I agree. It's such a wild move for Ubisoft to be like, all right, guys, we're shutting the server down. If you have a physical copy, bust it in half.
That game's over.
Yeah.
No more for you.
Put it in the fire.
Yeah.
Send it back to the well from whence it came.
But that's because they know gamers would try to do a backyard server.
Pretty much.
Figure out how to get the game up and running again.
That's pretty much why. And so I feel like people aren't going to comply.
Yeah.
Like, people are going to, on the last day of whatever server from Ubisoft, on the last day that it's up, there's going to be thousands of people up in the game trying to, like, keep it running. And I would bet that there will be a couple people who, like, group buy to pay for a server to keep it on, and, like, a coder who knows how to switch servers or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how any of that shit works, but I'm sure that people who want to play these games will find a way to continue to play them.
If that wasn't a possibility, they wouldn't be doing this.
Right.
It says that the EULA will terminate automatically if you fail to comply with any of the terms and conditions.
Basically,
so what does that mean? So if you don't break your disc, you don't get to play the game that you were going to break the disc on anyway?
It's like a warranty. Like, if you put a sticker on your car, or like if you repaint your car.
Sure.
That breaks the warranty, right?
So basically what they're saying is if, again, let's use Rainbow Six Siege. If I'm playing Rainbow Six Siege and they say, hey, in 2 weeks, servers are shutting down and you're no longer able to play it. But I know enough people that are going to start their own private one that know how to hack it and make their own server so we can still play privately.
Right.
If they catch wind of that and they go, oh, you're still playing Rainbow Six Siege after we shut our server down, we can flag your account and you're not allowed to play on a Ubisoft server anymore.
Right.
That's the EULA you're agreeing to, is your account on their server.
Right.
Any new games brought out by Ubisoft would be...
If I'm not mistaken, it might say it up there, EULA stands for Electronic User Licensing Agreement. So each EULA is for the network you're playing on. So like I have a EULA when I buy a new 2K game I agree to. Okay. And that is my account on that server.
It's essentially signing your account to a contract.
Right.
And once you're on that contract, it's essentially saying that you'll get support from the company if there is something that isn't like a user error.
Okay, so if you're fucking around and you have this backyard server, the company's like, oh, yeah, fuck
we're not going to help
buddy.
you. Yeah, because you're not going to go to Ubisoft and say, hey, I was on this modded server. And
and then they go, in fact, fuck you. Now you're not playing on any server.
Now
fuck
you're banned.
You. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so, which makes sense, but crazy work.
Yeah.
And it's something where, like, it's surprising and it's like, holy fuck, but I don't think that people are going to comply to it, and I think that this is like, it's not a nothing burger, but the people who this is directed towards aren't going to follow through, aren't going to follow the guidelines, and they're just going to make modded servers anyway. And so it's kind of like, what's the point? Like, just put it in there silently.
They really shot themselves in the foot. Ubisoft's PR team is probably livid right now because all this is a fuck you.
Yeah.
And like you said, nothing's going to change. If someone really wants to do this, they're going to do it.
Right.
And the whole, oh, you should just break your disc thing, that was just a fuck you.
It was just a fuck you from Ubisoft to say, like...
All they're saying is, well, that disc's no good anymore anyway, so what's the point?
Right.
Hey, remember that thing you bought for $60? Yeah,
right.
Worthless now.
The
Go
thing
fuck
that
yourself.
we made, that we spent money to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Trash.
is like it's the whole argument recently of like if what is it, if something isn't ownership, if
Oh,
if
you don't
I
have
don't
it
own
digitally,
this,
you don't own it.
No,
Or no, physically.
No. If I don't own it, then it's not illegal for me to pirate it.
Yeah, right. If streaming isn't ownership, then piracy isn't stealing.
Isn't theft? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were saying like
If subscriptions aren't ownership, then piracy isn't stealing.
Right.
Because it's like, well, I never owned it, so I'm not stealing it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You told me that I never owned it. And it's kind of that larger conversation of like, I don't own Fortnite.
You don't?
I just play it on... I was just allowed access to it. And if at any point Epic Games is like, actually, we're bankrupt, or we don't want you to play Fortnite anymore, they can just throw it away. They can throw the whole game away, and then all that game is gone.
I think about the DLC a lot and like pay to play shit of like, and I'm not I'm including myself in this camp because I'm a sucker every year for 2K. I'll buy all the fucking DLC for 2K and all the even especially back when it was before 2K owned it and it was Ukes developing it with THQ and it was like, oh, pay 99 cents here for a Rey Mysterio skin, or you can buy the NXT bundle for $5.
Right.
I bought it. What am I doing in 2025 on a DLC for WWE 13 that no longer has an active server?
Right.
Why did I spend that $5?
Right.
And I can't use the thing that I paid for now because I can't connect to the server to download it.
Right.
It's gone. It's gone forever. I gave you $5
for nothing.
For nothing now.
Right.
Yeah. So exactly what you're saying. Like Fortnite could shut down tomorrow. They go, hey, we're bankrupt. Servers are offline.
And
cool. There goes all that money I spent
but then
on it.
You could probably still buy V-Bucks for like a day or two. Like, V-Bucks might still be in the PlayStation shop or Xbox shop or something like that. And so you could still theoretically be giving them... Yeah, it's just a really like fucked and flawed system at the price of our convenience.
Yeah.
Well, not only V-Bucks in the shop or anything. Like, you go to the Walmart, you could buy V-Bucks,
You could
the whole
physically,
stack.
Right, and then it's nothing.
Nothing. Money to...
burn
the company.
Yeah, right. Money to the company, and
you get
we
a
can
card.
burn these cards that mean nothing.
I think about back in the day when Xbox stopped using Microsoft points. Remember, you used to have to buy Microsoft points to buy things. So, for those of you who aren't Xbox users, their currency, their in-console currency, was Microsoft points. And it was like just like V-Bucks. Their version of V-Bucks. You go and you spend $10 and you get 20,000 Microsoft points to buy games or clothes or avatar items, whatever.
Right.
And at some point, when they started moving more into being Microsoft and less as a brand of Xbox, it kind of integrated both together. They started going, well, why are we using our own system of currency? Why can't they just buy things with a credit card?
Right.
So they started integrating that. But the problem is, people had Microsoft points on their account.
Right.
The problem is, people still had cards to redeem Microsoft points they paid for. So what do we do with these? That's the transition I think of here with like, so I bought this thing for nothing. There's no use to it. There's no refund. I don't get anything back. You're saying, sorry, you're screwed because we changed our minds.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. It's something where like I'm about to get a little bit deeper, and we're going to talk about it next segment anyway, but like Call of Duty is kind of in that pickle of they still release new games every year, but they have their own version of Fortnite.
Yeah.
So like you can install Warzone, but you don't own Call of Duty, or you can install Call of Duty and then it all comes with that, and if you don't buy the next Call of Duty, then you can still play Warzone on the old game, but
I don't know. Go to your library, burn all the DVDs, return them. 216-859-8699. Imagine spending hundreds of dollars of your own money to advertise a massive corporation.
Now imagine that same corporation using your money to pay a public figure to sell a product back to you. Unfortunately, you don't have to imagine. Corporate product placement is the monopoly of the clothing industry as we know it. That's where GenericClothes.com comes in. Stick it to these big brand clothing cunts by wearing something straight and to the point. GenericClothes.com's got you covered and lets you have a laugh at their expense. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point. With shirts like floral pattern, trademark logo, music band, and more. Once again, that's GenericClothes.com.
And now, a WSRR Radio filibuster.
So the Illuminati is this group in Marvel, right? And it's not necessarily the Avengers, but it's made up of like a core 7 of the smartest, most intelligent people in the universe. It's Reed Richards, Namor, it is Iron Man, and they had Captain America in it, but he was like too much of a pussy. So they knocked him back on the real Avengers team. And what they would do, the Illuminati, each one of them, after they defeated Thanos in the Infinity War series, they each took an Infinity Gem, and they had to like hide it or like keep safe track of it so that none of them could be combined ever again. And Captain America wanted to destroy them, and essentially they came together and were like, this guy, like Black Panther, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Reed Richards, Namor, Black Bolt, and then Professor X. That's the team. That's the Illuminati in Marvel. And so like they come together, and they wanted to have Captain America on the team too, because he's Captain America. But when it came time to divvy up the Infinity Gems after they defeated Thanos, they were like, Captain America was like, well, we should destroy them because they're dangerous. And they were essentially like, this guy's pussy. Let's kick him out of the team. And so they send him to the Avengers, and then they send the Avengers on these missions. Meanwhile, the Illuminati's doing the real big boy shit. They're fighting Galactus, and they don't even, like, the real Avengers team doesn't even know that it's a threat. They don't even understand that it's going on. And its own separate comic run, the New Avengers, and then there's a separate comic run called the Illuminati. And they, like, run parallel, essentially, and you're getting both sides of the story at the same time. So that's what the Illuminati, and they make, like, a lot of big decisions in Marvel Comics. So, like, they'll come together and decide
Hi, this is Melissa.
And hey, it's Matt.
Coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
We are a recording and production studio located on the south side near Chicago.
Check us out online at synergymusicstudio.com. We offer recording, mixing, and mastering.
And follow us on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Whoever's the owner of the gray sedan, you left the Rebel Radio Show playing.
You know, I'm not sure if everyone knows this. Obviously, we're live every Monday at 5 right here on WSR Radio and also simulcast on our YouTube page of the same name. But if you're watching on YouTube, during the breaks, we play some bumper music and you get to watch the slide of all of our advertisers. When you listen live on the radio, you actually get content. You get fun little bits and music and all that fun stuff. So that's another reason to download the brand new WSR Radio mobile app.
Yeah! I wanted to make it feel like it was coming and going.
Yeah, you got that. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah!
There's a, man, that really messed with my head because I can't think of it off the top of my head. But there's a fucking Trevor Moore bit where he like does that, and it's a very similar cadence. So that really like fucked with my head for a second.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Another great reason to download the WSR Radio mobile app. You don't have to do it that time.
Yeah.
Is to get all that great content as well. And if you didn't know, we're also brought to you by Synergy Music Studio based out of Chicago, Illinois for recording, mixing, mastering, production, or more, even reamping. That's right. They'll take your old tracks and run it back through a variety of amplifiers and processors to make the exact sound each client is looking for. For more information on that, synergymusicstudio.com, or you can go to our site, WSRRradio.com, for all of those links to all of our great sponsors. And we're going to talk more about gaming here in just 1 second because not Ubisoft.
No.
Activision.
And
Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
They are now taking a Call of Duty game offline. What is it, World War II?
Yeah, Call of Duty World War II is the specific game.
Which goes right in line with what we were just talking about, of old servers still being up and active.
Yeah, because this one came out in like 2014?
Yeah, not
15?
super old, but also not well received, if I remember.
2017.
Okay. World War II was not a well-received game.
I don't think it was super popular.
Well, that was
World War II was not well
It was.
received.
It was
certainly not by
got
Japan.
negative. Got negative reviews.
I tell you, not big in Japan.
Yeah, no.
Call of Duty World War II was in that stretch of really bad games that kind of like started with Ghosts and might still be going on now.
Yeah.
Where everyone just kind of went, man, why am I paying $70 for this terrible fucking game?
Yeah.
But Call of Duty World War II did not do well. And I think now it's kind of a massive cult following because it's one of those things where people didn't like it. They waited for the next one to come out. I think Vanguard was the next one. And then this one got really cheap. So people started buying the cheap one.
Yeah, and they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, we can just get the cheap one.
Right.
So now, obviously, usually games like this have a better shelf life on PC because you can mod games pretty easy.
Yeah.
You build up a more active community with that, and you make the game playable. But with Call of Duty World War II now, they're taking it down off PC and assumingly Steam because that modding community has found a loophole in their mods.
Oopsie.
They have been accessing people's computers via the modded servers. So you join a modded server on Call of Duty World War II, maybe unknown. Maybe you're just randomly searching for a server.
Yeah,
you end
right.
up joining
Maybe
a
you're
mod
like,
lobby.
I want to play this game. I haven't played it in a long time.
Right.
You're not even playing on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you ended up joining a server. It happens to have a modder in it or be a modded server. And the next thing you know, they have access to your PC. Crazy scenario. Hacking into somebody's computer through a fucking video game server. I'm surprised it hasn't been done sooner. Maybe it has, just not in commonplace.
Yeah, right.
But it's enough of an issue where it's happened enough times on Call of Duty WW2 that they have to shut it
they're
down.
Shutting it down.
Yeah.
Here's a quick. This is just a little, like I guess, something from one of the players that this happened to. One player posted a recording of his game freezing as a Windows command file executes in the background, followed by a text note saying that saying the hacker had quote just RCE'd your ass, while telling them to contact Mitchell Silsberg and NUP LLP, an entertainment law firm in Los Angeles. Other users reported that their computers were shut down by the hackers or had their desktop pictures changed to pornographic images.
Not gonna lie, if you're hacking my entire PC and the worst I'm getting is it shut down or my background changed, I'll take it. I was more concerned about them because that's what they're doing. They're accessing your computer like a fucking scammer would do, right? So they could easily just open up your keychain and get all your fucking passwords for everything, log into your bank account, do whatever they need to do.
I mean, they probably were doing that.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the background for sure. But I think
Do you think?
I completely forgot what I was thinking, so I guess I don't.
That's all right. I don't think that much either. No, I just feel like
I smell smoke.
It's one of those things where, like, common or like regular people have a general concept of like, if you know what a video game is and you know how video games work, you know that they can get hacked.
Right.
This is like a whole other. It's what the boomer, moms and dads think of like they're gonna steal your social security number. They actually
now
are.
They can, yeah.
Right.
So what I was saying is, do they know who these hackers are? Do they have any idea? Because they could be charged with like sexual harassment for at least changing the background pictures
Probably
to
not.
porn, right?
Probably not.
It seems like they might know some of it. So, according to a cybersecurity firm, Malwarebytes, the problem appears to stem from the way older Call of Duty games, like many other titles, switch from dedicated servers to peer-to-peer networking as the game ages out, rather than run and maintain a fleet of servers. So it seems like they know who's doing it. Because
they're doing what you would need to do for like an old Rainbow Six Siege server, what we were just talking about.
They did a backup server on their own?
Yeah, so what they're doing is because they're not paying for 800 servers to be active, you're running a peer-to-peer. So it's saying, okay, we're playing online, but either I'm hosting or you're hosting on our local network.
Right.
So all of this game is going through the traffic of my internet, my home internet.
Right.
Because we're not relying on an Activision server itself to play this game right now.
Right.
So because of that, because there's an activity on, maybe you join a game with 5 people in it and I'm hosting it on my server. Unbeknownst to me, I don't know that's going on.
Right.
Because of that, they can go, oh, well, I can see where this game is coming from. And I can backtrack that, and I can get into that server. Right. And that server happens to be your home Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
And from that, they can access your phone. They can access your computer. Anything that's connected or has been connected to that Wi-Fi. Right. Your buddy's phone who came over and connected to your Wi-Fi, they can get into that.
Right.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's next level shit.
Who thought of that?
A really smart hacker.
I was gonna say, all things aside, you got to be pretty smart to have that thought process of, I could just backtrack the channel of this server.
It's one of those things where I think about, like, it doesn't happen that often, but it is really crazy when, like, Sony had that in, like, 2012 or whatever.
Lizard Squad?
Yeah, Sony had that huge, massive
Lizard Squad.
Yeah, they're getting the mics, dude.
They're hacking our mics.
Or like Max Headroom or something like that, where somebody like successfully
this
takes
is modern
something
Max
over.
Headroom.
Well, I'm saying like something like Lizard Squad, or like it only happens every 10 years, 15 years, something like that. But it was multiple terabytes of like
personal information.
Yeah, emails, personal information. It was people who owned PlayStation accounts, people who worked for PlayStation, like anyone. If you were in any way connected to PlayStation at any time, they had your information and they leaked it out to the public. And so like, it's just one of those things where like, yeah, they're really smart and they're really calculated.
Yeah.
They take the time to make sure that what they're doing is foolproof. And when they go big, or like when they go big, and
it's like a full-on heist for them.
Literally. And that's why like a hack. Sorry, one more
you're
thing.
good. You're good.
That's also why like this is small, but a hacking group has a name. Because they're an organization. You know what I mean? They're meeting somewhere, and they all have, and they're on a private.
They all play their part,
right? And they're all on a private server, and they all know what they're. It's like a heist.
Yeah.
But it's just all online.
And that's why ransomware exists, because that's exactly what it is a heist. Hey, I have all your information already. If you don't want me to leak it, I know I can get paid for this information.
Right.
So you better cough up the funds.
Right.
Not even just in video games, but to take a step back, I think everybody has been victim to information leak from any major company.
Sure.
How often do you see AT&T or T-Mobile or Verizon say, "Hey, by the way, sorry, we leaked this data. You might be part of that.
Right.
Sorry, nothing we can do. It's out there."
Right.
And I genuinely think everyone has gotten an email like that. If you haven't, you probably have. You just didn't see it. Because it's not just internet providers or phone providers. It's fucking credit card companies. It's your bank. Banks have this all the time where information gets leaked, where it's login information.
Well, your Facebook.
Your Facebook.
It's crazy that they can put in fine print like,
we're not responsible.
Well, we're not responsible, and we're going to sell some of your data.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, the EULA. Click.
Agree to that EULA.
Agree. And then
because you don't have an option to disagree.
And then it's like, oh, they just sold my email or whatever to 6 weird companies, and now that's something that I have to deal with. Like,
and now I'm getting ads from these companies.
Right. And we're just so like laissez-faire about it.
Yeah.
Because
we know what the game is.
It's just
we just play into it.
We can't not.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do? Right.
Right.
What do we do? Be Amish?
You get a VPN, but your information's already out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is your information is already out. Yours, mine, everybody in this room, everyone listening at home, right now, your information is out there. There are people that can access your email and your credit card information right now if they really want to do.
Right.
They wanted to pay the price, and you just happen to be the unlucky person they pick out of that list of millions.
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
You're going to have to take that up with your bank when it happens. There's nothing you can do about it in the meantime. Right now would be the perfect time for me to say, hey, we're sponsored by a VPN, but we're not. So I'll tell you, we're sponsored by Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA. They're one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants. They won't protect your personal information from cyber attacks, but they'll make your next album release something special by pressing it on varieties of colors and styles. Visit hellbendervinyl.com right now to get started. But your information's out there.
Yeah.
And this is just another avenue that a lot of people probably didn't think of to get it.
Yeah.
And that's why it works so well.
Right.
Because no one logs on to an old Call of Duty and goes, oh man, I wonder if anyone's out there going to steal my info.
They're going to steal my identity. They're going to get my... Right. You're not thinking that.
Because I've played an old Call of Duty server where I've gotten my account hacked before.
Right.
I have played Modern Warfare 3 maybe 10 years past the sell-by date, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've had my account hacked from a modded lobby.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened? They reset me back down to 0.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. And then, fortunately, I was lucky enough 4 games later to find another hacker who said, yeah, I can restore you back to 10 prestige.
Right.
And he put me back.
Right.
That was my whole experience with my account being hacked.
Right.
And another reason to play on console and not PC.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you can still get in modded lobbies on console.
Right.
Depending on how old the game is and
Right.
how, like, little those servers are being checked or anything like that, you can definitely get on modded. I remember that happened to me, too. I got modded.
216-859-8699. Let me know if you're hosting a boosting lobby in MW2.
Style here, and I want to take a minute to talk to you about Hellbender Vinyl, a proud supporter of local and independent music and a proud supporter of WSRR Radio. Hellbender Vinyl is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl pressing plants. Located in Upper Lawrenceville on Butler Street, Hellbender is Pittsburgh's first and only vinyl record pressing plant and is here to help local bands and artists get their albums onto vinyl. Hellbender Vinyl offers vinyl record pressings to ensure that albums don't just end up as a bunch of ones and zeros floating around somewhere on the internet. So, if you're interested in giving your album a physical release, you can visit hellbendervinyl.com to start the conversation today. Plus, every customer at Hellbender Vinyl receives 5 free test presses to review at no additional cost. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Do you remember when you could press 0 and talk to the operator? Yeah, well, I'm that fucking operator. Where the hell did you guys go? I've been sitting here for the last 20 years, alright? Everyone would dial 0, everyone would talk to me, it kept me sane, it kept me from not jumping off the deep end, but I've been here for 20 years and no one has dialed 0. How do you think I'm doing? They asked me how I could fix their problems, how do you fix mine? StylesRebelRadio.com.
Hi, this is Melissa.
Hey, it's Matt.
Hi guys, my name is Ari. Coming at you from Synergy Music Studio. Come through to a Synergy Naked session.
Synergy Naked is a live performance recording, also captured on video. Look for our releases on YouTube at Synergy Music Studio.
We're located on the south side near Chicago. Passing through.
Hit up our DMs on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show.
You Uba-tuba son of a bitch.
Uba-tuba piece of shit. You stinky rope.
Clip that.
Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show, scaring you on the Internet edition.
Yeah!
Ah! Alright. Hey, Shane, you want to do one more yell?
If you say the magic word.
Oh, man, is it the new WSR Radio mobile app?
Yes!
It's available right now on your phone. Go to WSRradio.com for both download links for the Android Google Play Store and the Apple Store. So you want to make sure you take us with you wherever you go. Pair us with your car stereo or your Bluetooth headphones. And you can even support creators as you listen. If you find a local artist you like and a song you like, you can even buy it right there in the app and support the local artist that you have found. Once again, that's the WSR Radio mobile app. You don't have to do it this time. It's okay. 216-859-8699 to text into the show today, or for any of our live shows. We continue to scare you about the internet. We've talked about games being taken down and being told to fuck yourself. We've talked about hackers using your games to get your information. We've talked about how viable your information is, and it's out there from every company you've ever signed up for their EULA. Now, we're going to talk about how they know exactly where you are all of the time.
Real quick, I just want to say, after all this screaming, I just need some generic honey.
Yeah, some non-branded generic honey.
I just feel like I need some non-branded honey for my throat.
I agree. There's no better honey than
just non-branded generic honey.
Generic honey.
It's the best.
It's the best. Well, I'll tell you what's not the best.
Yeah.
Xfinity Wi-Fi.
Honestly, I've heard that in general about Xfinity Wi-Fi.
I'm surprised Xfinity is still around. It's very
not sponsored by Xfinity, and we don't fucking want to be.
Don't want that shit.
I'm surprised Xfinity is still around.
They're like the Radio Shack of Wi-Fi.
For real.
Is Radio Shack still around?
No. There's one. I know of one.
Oh.
In the Menor Mall.
Okay, so then I guess they are like the Radio Shack of Wi-Fi.
There's only one Xfinity.
Yeah, there's only one. That's why the service is so bad. So Xfinity Wi-Fi has rolled out this thing to the public, at least, because this has been a thing for a while. The more research you do into it. But now they're advertising it to the public. Xfinity Home Wi-Fi can detect motion in your house. The purpose being when you are not home, you can set it up so if there's motion in your house, like a burglar breaks in or something's going on while you're not home, it will notify you. The way it does this is obviously, you know, we've talked about how Bluetooth works in the past, I know,
Mm-hmm.
but all Wi-Fi sends out waves all the time. It's just waves bouncing off each other, pinging into each other, into your router and around your home. Your phone's sending out waves for Wi-Fi and 5G and LTE and Bluetooth all day long, every day.
Right.
So is your computer, your laptop, your TV, if you have a smart TV, your Google Home,
Mm-hmm.
anything that connects to the internet, well, connects to WSRradio.com, but it also is sending out waves 24/7, 365, and they're just filling the atmosphere. You're surrounded by them right now. There's not a damn thing you can do about it.
Wave. You don't have to be in the ocean to catch the wave.
So, because of that fact, Xfinity realized, well, shit, we can determine where the waves are bouncing off of.
Right.
And if something's moving, we can determine how it's moving and where it's moving based
Right.
on where our waves are bouncing.
Right.
So essentially, in theory, Xfinity looks for the negative space. It looks for where you are because the waves are bouncing off of you.
Right.
It says, oh, there's an object here and it's moving through the room. We can detect motion
Right.
because of that, because our waves aren't filling this space.
Right.
Cool in theory until you realize that we're just now hearing about this, number one. So that means it's been in development for a while.
Right.
And as you look at the breakdown, which we just gave you, it's not a hard thing for anyone to do at any point.
Right. It's one of those things that, like, you think about it and it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What's up? Yeah.
So it's just finding the negative space. You could do it with Bluetooth if you really wanted to, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's just finding the negative space in between the waves. So what's the problem with it, right? Number one, people were beyond themselves when Alexa and Google Home came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's listening to me. It's always
Right.
listening to me. It's recording. It's sending things to Google and to Amazon.
Right.
That's terrible. Now everybody has them in their home and no one talks about it because
Right.
you can do that there. You can do it on your phone. Fucking, you buy a new computer and they want Cortana to talk to you, and
Right.
you have an Xbox and they want your Xbox assistant to talk to you. Everything has a voice control now.
Yeah.
Cars have it now.
Yeah.
You always have something recording and listening, right? So that's not a big thing anymore. But now you don't even need to talk. You don't even need to have your phone on. You don't need anything. As long as you're in your home with Wi-Fi that you pay for, they know where you're at.
Yeah.
And the scary part about that is, at least to me, what I immediately thought of is the conversation we just had the last segment. How long before a company goes, this person's a target of interest to me. I will pay you this amount of money for information on how their schedule goes. I need to know
Right.
where their kitchen table is, where they sit. I need to know their bed is, where they sleep. I want to know the pattern they take in the morning when they leave the house.
Right.
I can know if I have enough money and I want to target you, I can pay Xfinity and figure out where you're standing at any point in time in your house.
Yeah.
That's a threat. That's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
That's not a thing that should be okay. And here we are.
So it's a feature. They're like claiming that it's a feature. Wi-Fi motion is available to Xfinity Internet customers who lease an advanced Xfinity Gateway, XB7 model or later. It's free to enable for these customers, and you can use up to 3 Wi-Fi connected devices to create motion sensing areas. Some examples include printer, smart fridge, and Xbox. So,
Smart fridge. Your fridge is outing you on where you're
your
at.
fridge is a narc, dude. Your fridge is a fucking narc. It's just one of those things where, like, when you sent this to me, because you sent this to me earlier in the week, and
I think I sent this to you at like 2 a.m. yesterday.
yeah, it was like oh, this is surprising. Like, oh, this is scary, surprising. But it's the same conversation, in my eyes at least. I feel like it's the same conversation that we have with, like, Alexa and shit like that you just mentioned. We are all like, that's weird. And we either don't have them because we think it's weird, or you have them, and if you ever think about it, you're like, well, I'm not saying anything important.
Right.
And so that's kind of where I lay with this, except for, like, that is an interesting point of using it for, like, specific targeted ads, like, oh, he's going to be in his bed in this room at
Right. And that's the first
at
thing
this
I thought
time,
of.
and so on this TV we'll put this ad. And just to add another, like, this is
Or like that Reese's ad that says like, if you hear this ad right now, it proves that your devices are listening to you. It very well could. Like, it could have watched you pace around the kitchen and
Right.
Yeah.
open all of your cabinets and realize that you didn't grab food. And then
don't
it's
have any
gonna-
Reese's.
See, that's a conversation I didn't even think of as targeted advertisement, but that's
Yeah.
probably the most logical thing.
Well, I think about, like, did we talk about them? The TVs that are free, but they have a little bar of advertisements
I
on
think
the bottom
we did.
of them constantly going.
I think we did. So there's TVs. I think they're in the UK for beta testing now, but there's no commercials on them. They're 24/7. You can watch whatever channel. I'm sure they have their own channels, because how would you do that if not?
Right.
But they have their own channels. You can watch 24/7 with no commercials. But the caveat is there's a little LED bar that goes immediately under your TV that just shows ads 24/7. So you have a constant screen of ads and you have a constant TV.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming if you disconnect it, they don't work.
Yeah, right.
There's got to be a way for you to not
break the small
Yeah,
TV.
because I mean, I'd just cover it up, right?
Right. But in my eyes, we lead into like a dystopian world where it's 6 o'clock and I go to my bedroom to watch TV, and the little ad at the bottom is Reese's, because every night at 7 I eat my Reese's in bed, or like whatever the case
Or I go
is.
to the kitchen to look for a snack, so it's going to advertise me an hour before a snack.
Right. Like, it's, in my eyes, that's where this sort of thing leads subtly over the next like 5 years or something like that,
Well, and to piggyback on that and the conversation we just had last segment, it's scary that your Wi-Fi provider is going to have the most power here, because that's the one that's seeing what you're searching anyway.
Right.
It knows if, hey, I usually DoorDash around 9 p.m. something to eat. Now at 9 p.m., it knows you're hungry at 9 p.m. It can sell, hey, KFC. This guy's hungry at 9 p.m. If you want to sell ads, here's the price. We'll advertise KFC at 9 p.m.
Right.
Not only that, but we can tell you what room of the house he's going to be in.
Right.
So maybe format it to a TV ad instead of a mobile ad.
Well, and you can advertise to his wife in the living room who wants this,
Right.
and it's a different product, and you can run multiple like it doesn't have
You
to
can
be
have an advertisement on your fridge.
It doesn't have to be the same advertisement in every room for
Yeah.
every channel, Like, if you have the same channel on in 2 rooms, it's still the same advertisement. But now they'll know that the living room one gets food commercials and the bedroom one gets clothes commercials or something like that, you know?
You got a home gym, your Wi-Fi detecting that you're running in motion because you're on a treadmill. Hell, maybe they're putting you protein powder advertisements on your TV in there.
Right.
Maybe it's sending you protein powder advertisements on your phone and supplements.
Fabletics.
Yeah.
I think 5, 10, 15 years down the line, that's kind of like the weird dystopian that people accept. It's like, well, that's just what, like,
Of course they know where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Whatever. It's
just is what it
is. It just is what it is. Right.
But
I think that's where we go.
I think the flip side, and this is what my mind immediately went to, the flip side of that is what we talked about with hackers on Microsoft, is how accessible is that information once there's a data breach on Xfinity?
Yeah, right.
Once they go, oh, they have this routine logged. Maybe it's not a live time they're getting. They're not getting it in real time.
Yeah, maybe they're getting like an old time, but still.
But if they have 2 years, I've had Xfinity of them logging my daily routine.
Right.
Does your daily routine change that much typically?
Right.
Like if they have you down to a science of here's the 3 or 4 things he's going to do in this room today, and someone gets that information because there's a data leak at Xfinity.
Right.
Think about that. Think about the ransomware they could sell. Not even selling that to anyone specifically. Think about the fact that they could go, okay, well, here's his IP address we got off that information. Here's the address we got. Here's the mailing address. Here's the billing information. Here's the social security. Here's the phone number. Here's the name of the account.
And here's the layout of the house.
All we have to do now is get access to that IP.
Right.
And we have the address. So we're halfway there. All we have to do is get access to some device on this house and send him ransomware that he has to click.
Oh, you just turned your phone on and went to Instagram?
Yep.
You're cooked.
You're cooked. Now you have a message on your screen that says, hey, by the way, I know what room you're going to be in at 9 p.m. tonight.
Right.
Here's the amount if you don't want something bad to happen.
Here, you have cameras in your house. Here's a picture of your bedroom.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Oh.
Those people who put like cameras outside of your house, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Cameras inside your house is like, oh man. And so they get that kind of information. It's like, imagine sending that to someone. Here's a picture of you sleeping last night. You didn't sleep that good.
So we got a message saying with AI, they would be able to tailor or should be able to tailor the ad just to you individually and may be able to use your name.
It's a Reese's ad with fucking what's his name?
Hey, Shane.
Bojack Horseman. That's like,
hungry
hey
for-
Shane, you hungry for a Reese's? It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? Reese's?
Damn, yeah.
That's going to
And
be...
then it gives
Hey,
you a
Shane.
DoorDash
I was gonna
ad
say-
for 15-minute delivery.
Yeah.
Hey, Shane, you hungry for a Reese's? Here's all the places in your neighborhood you can get one.
Commercials are going to start running discounts of like, hey, for the next 15 minutes, think about the WWE commercials when they run
Hey,
tonight,
Shane.
tonight only.
Use promo code ShaneE.
Yeah, right. Use promo code. It's your promo code.
Your address.
Your address, and you'll get 10% off. Use it in the next before this commercial ends.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3. You know, like, and
You pick up your phone, log into the app, and start slowing down.
and you know what we're gonna do? Ah, shit. You know,
Well, I gotta get the deal.
We're not gonna be like, oh, holy shit, oh, this is scary. We're gonna say, well, another DoorDash ad. You know, like we're gonna be like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah, and we could even be able to, in the future, connect our DoorDash existing account to that ad and just be like, oh, that ad I just saw on TV, let me buy
Link
that.
it up to it,
Well, it's like the, do you guys get ads on Hulu or like HBO Max where
You can play with them and touch them. And
you can like touch them, or like you can go to the link that it's
Yeah.
advertising?
Are you guys reaching out and touching the screen?
No, like you can use
Shut up.
you can use your controller during. No, don't bring that one back. Let that horse be dead.
Punch
but you can like click on the ad,
Yeah.
and then it'll
Interactive
take you,
ads.
Yeah, it'll take you to like the website or whatever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be normal.
If the top of the hill is the meme from 15 years ago of, well, I can buy 3 copies of RoboCop at Walmart for $20. Why do you need 3 copies of RoboCop? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to buy 3 copies than to buy 1. Of course I'm going to buy 3 copies of RoboCop.
Yeah.
If that's the top of the hill, we're all the way at the bottom now with, well, of course I'm going to buy this advertisement that's directly targeted at me, because why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I listen to BoJack Horseman giving me my name and a promo code to buy Reese's at the local 7-Eleven?
Right.
Why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
It only makes sense.
There's
I'm going to get a Reese's anyway.
It's 2-pack. It's a 2-pack for 70 cents. They're normally $3. Why wouldn't I do that?
I just want to mention someone out there listening is losing their mind right now because we haven't said Reese's once.
Reese's.
Because that is the correct name.
Yeah.
And I acknowledge that, but fuck you, it's Reese's.
It's just one of those things where, like, I feel like we're slowly bleeding into something weird. And again, I sit here and I say, what do we do? What do you do?
There's nothing we can do at this point.
What do you do?
And this is a conversation we had weeks ago at this point. We talked about the difference in generations and their outlook on everything. This is our generation's outlook of what do we do at this point? The snowball has rolled down the hill.
Yeah.
What do we do? We can't push it back up.
It feels like one of those things where as you get older, you realize that the cool things are not as cool anymore. Or like, I don't know. Because like
the cool things get scary as you grow up.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so you're 8 years old.
Hey, first of all.
You're 8 years
Little
old.
bitch.
What are you asking ChatGPT?
No,
I'm a big boy.
You're 8 years
You're
old.
20 years
and
old.
I
You
give
have a
you,
credit card.
I tell you, hey, in a couple of years, there'll be a rectangle that'll fit in your pocket that has the internet. You can play games on it. You can listen to all your favorite music on it all the time, anywhere you are.
Right.
You can stream it to a speaker. You can put it in your car.
Right.
You can talk to all your friends. You can see a video of all your friends.
Right.
Hell, you can talk to a fake robot
Right.
that'll give you responses in real time. You
Right.
think that's the coolest
You
thing in
can
the
talk
world.
you can talk to Bugs Bunny
Yeah.
or whatever.
You
Yeah.
think that's the coolest thing in the world until you figure out, oh, well, now it's learning me, and now it's advertising to me.
Right.
And I know this is the thing I always come back to. I even brought up last night when we talked. No matter where you are, you can turn your phone off. You can turn all your devices off if you want. Still going to find out where you are.
Right.
Still trackable. You can turn off Find My iPhone. You can turn off your location settings. Get rid of Snap Maps. You can
Have a
drive 30
VPN,
miles
yeah.
north. Yeah, they'll still know where you're at.
Right.
You can have a fucking flip phone from Walmart and they'll find you. You can have a singular wireless flip phone from 20 years ago, and I do.
Well, they can just
And
triangulate
they
your
can
cell
find
service.
it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if it's not on.
Yeah.
Even if it's not on, because, and I learned this out the hard way when I was 7 years old, even a deactivated cell phone will call 911. And if it can do that, it's got cell service, doesn't it?
Right.
It's got some kind of a connection.
Right.
And it can find you.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird when our phones start doing stuff. Like, I think about like ads on your home screen or something like that. You know, it's gonna be like that. Then it's gonna be like AI integrated into ads, and we're gonna be like, oh, that's funny. They're personalized now, and then it's gonna get normalized and like
It's going to be your own algorithm of ads.
Yeah, right.
Can I make a scary prediction that I hope doesn't come true, but I think from this conversation I've been thinking about it a little bit, I think this is the most likely first integration we'll see where that's successful of what you're talking about.
Mhm.
Remember Clippy?
Mm-hmm.
Your little virtual paperclip assistant on Windows XP? We're going to have our own customizable virtual assistant that can be on the home screen of our phone.
Walk
Powered
around.
by AI. It
Yeah.
can be whatever you want. You can make it Peely from Fortnite.
Yeah.
And it'll call you by its name, and it'll click
Yeah.
on apps for you, and it'll run automation for you, and it'll talk to you.
Yeah.
It'll give you today's weather, and you can ask it anything on the internet. You don't need Google anymore. You got your little assistant. That'll be the start.
I think it's really interesting, like going back to like the 20s and looking at what they thought the future would be like, and it's so
The 1920s, because we're in the 20s.
the 1920s. Yeah, sorry. You look at the 1920s and like what they thought the future would be was so drastically different than what it is now. Like the Jetsons did not happen. You know what I mean? And we're here today, and it's like in 5 years things are going to get crazy. And like I know I talk about exponential growth all the time, but like I wonder how close we are at predicting that reality of it, because like it could completely change. There could be something put in place, law, or maybe one big law that like changes something very minute, but then that redirects the course of AI for whatever, or maybe people get out of it, whatever. Like we just don't know what's going to happen, and I think it's us being like, this is going to be bad, this is going to be bad, it's going to be crazy. Very likely, very possible, but like when they first put cell towers up, people were like, they're going to track us with their cell phone. They're going to triangulate us with their cell phones. What the fuck? We can't let that shit happen. And it's been happening for the last 30, 40, 50 years.
Yep.
And now we're those same people saying, they're going to track us with their Wi-Fi. And it's going to be the same thing for another 30, 40, 50 years. And it's just kind of like, well, I'm the snake, and I have found my own tail, and I am now eating it.
While we're scaring the audience,
sure,
I'll say this too. You know, I brought up the point. You don't need to have your phone on. You don't need a smartphone, whatever. Not just your phone. We're past. There's more things in your life that track you than you know. You got a pair of headphones in.
Right.
You got a pair of Apple headphones in. They're tracking you.
Right.
They know exactly where you're at. Yeah.
Right,
your AirPods are.
Right.
They're tracking you. Your Galaxy Buds.
Right.
I think they call them. They're tracking you.
Right.
You got a fucking smartwatch on. You got a Fitbit on. They're tracking you.
Right.
Anything that you can have that can connect to the internet's tracking you.
Right. And it's so crazy because like they advertise it to us. It's a feature that
there's
you
even
can get
tracking devices. You can get a what are they called? The app AirTags.
AirTags.
Yeah.
But like having Wi-Fi in your fridge, you pay more for that. You don't pay less for that.
Yeah.
But now it's deemed a bad thing. But like at first it was cool and kind of a gimmick, and
you can tweet from your fridge.
Sure, right. Ha ha he he. But now it's like, well, is that really that funny? Was it worth the bit? You know? And it's just like, it's probably not going to affect us ever, realistically. We're probably going to live our lives and things are going to be fine, but weird to think about, all the same. All in the same, weird to think about the way that things will change because of AI and Wi-Fi. And
I think the name of the game is finding better ways to hide it. Because we all know, you know, you say, oh, you're being tracked on the roads. Yeah, I have my phone on me. I keep my location on.
Sure.
But again, people don't think about your earbuds, your watch, your things like that, right? I have an AirTag in my luggage, right? People don't think about that stuff. We have fucking Ray-Bans now with AI in them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They can track you by your fucking sunglasses.
Right.
That's crazy to me. They know what language you're trying to interpret and understand. They know the conversations you've had today in person, face to face. No technology. Put your sunglasses on.
And I mean, it's something that we've said before, but like you're going to get looked at as like a tinfoil head crazy person if you're like, we need to go back to dumb phones and we need to get off the grid and, you know, we need to be self-sufficient, and they're going to look at you like, all right, cuckoo, like, all right, ding dong, whatever, go back to the Bell Factory. But like, it's one of those things where that's probably good for people to do that in moderation, but convenience is everything to us now, or at least convenience is what is popular.
Convenience
So that's
and consumerism.
So that's what gets pushed, you know? And now you can pay for Wi-Fi on your fridge, or you can, you know, and like those people who are like, my fridge is just regular, seem a lot more like, that's a nice life. Now, you know, like, I miss the days when my fridge wasn't tracking, you know? Like, maybe they aren't.
I didn't have to worry that my fridge wasn't connected to the internet today.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Everyone, every company, everybody is trying to push something. You pushing P?
A pushing E.
What are you pushing? 216-859-8699. Of course, the Rebel Hotline works for the Rebel Radio Show live every Monday right here on WSRR Radio. And all of our shows that we stream 24/7, 365 on WSRR Radio, like Shaney's Off Air.
That is me.
You can get shows like The Pigeonhole with The Pidge. You can get Behind Enemy Lines. That's your Cleveland sports show from Pittsburgh every morning at 10 a.m. during the week. Or True Vault Escapades, your Fallout-based radio drama at 10 p.m. during the week from Preston Harden and his crew. For full showtimes, schedules, and more, WSRRradio.com. And to take us with you on the go wherever you go, download the new free WSRR Radio mobile app.
Last time, guys.
Yeah, boy!
I wanted to make it a yeah boy for the last time.
Well, you can download that from your app store or WSRRradio.com, where you can also find links to all of our amazing sponsors like Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago, Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA, and GenericClothes.com. You also make sure to join our Discord server there to stay in the loop and in contact with all of us here on WSRR Radio and your fellow listening audience for a whole bunch of different conversations, categories, and more. And don't forget, mark your calendars for July 26th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, 12 straight hours of live radio. It's the WSRR Rebelthon. That's live shows, music, guest interviews, giveaways, and more. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you have that number saved, 216-859-8699, as we'll be giving away stickers and exclusives all day long for the WSRR Rebelthon on July 26th. But until next time, I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Styles. My Red is Shaney.
Bye, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Adios.
Peace.
Searching